Hello, welcome to a very special edition of the TNT podcast. It is our final show of the year. I know, a single tear rolled down all of our six audience members' eyes. No, I'm just kidding. We have thousands.
Right.
And today we are celebrating the best in tech of 2023. And we have talked over the past almost 40 episodes of the TNT podcast this year. We've talked a lot about tech. We've been cancelled by Apple, copyright infringed by the Beatles. It's been a big year. It's been big. And we are going to talk in particular about our favorite products of the year. So we have some categories which we will share with you. So we have best smartphone, best smartwatch, best laptop, tablet, gaming console, accessories, headphones and earphones, folding phones, overhyped product of the year, comeback kid, flop of the year, and MVP. Believe it or not, we will have, not like Mr. Who's the Boss, we will have a winner. Or winners, if Tuna and I can't agree. So I guess.
And if these companies won an award, I mean, I guess I could create something and send it to them. But at this point, we don't have anything.
Well, on our TNT stream budget, we will send a Post-it note with a drawn picture of the award.
And they will send us the product.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, right? So, I mean, we can kind of figure it out from there. But yeah, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to hit the ground running here. And we are going to kick things off, unlike our competitors, by saying best smartphone last. We're going to go best smartphone first. That's what the TNT podcast does. We do things differently. So we are going to jump right in with the best smartphone of the year. And I am going to hand it over to Tuna right now. Tuna, in your very informed book, please inform our lovely audience here, what was the best phone of the year for you this year?
Well, before I say that, there's a couple caveats to this.
Oh, okay.
There's a multitude of people who use different phones, and especially in two different camps. We have iOS and Android.
Yes.
Not only that, as you mentioned previous to the live stream, we have used a lot of phones over the course of 2023.
Yes.
And it tends to work worse for us because a lot of times we'll do, the last phone I used is the best phone, but we have to go back to the beginning.
Yes.
So I got a couple things. I've got a smartphone of the year, and I've got kind of like a runner-up. And the only reason why I have a runner-up is because I wanted this phone to be the winner, but a couple of things kept it from happening. So my Android smartphone of the year, it comes as no surprise, is the Samsung S23 Ultra.
Oh, there we go.
And I'm going to say this because the Swiss Army knife of cameras, the beautiful screen, the pen, and just the sheer updates they've been pushing out to the device. And it's just a badass phone. It really is. And the problem with that phone is it came out at the beginning of the year, and so many phones have come since. It's hard to people remember that phone.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely my phone. Now my runner-up, which you may be surprised about because it wasn't the first, is the Honor Magic 5 Pro. This by far, now, it's not flagship of the year, but it's my favorite phone of the year. And here's why I stipulate the difference. Here in the U.S., the Honor was not officially offered. So if you're an AT&T, Verizon, or any other of those combinations, it just didn't work right. It did work on T-Mobile, but not even 100% there. If that thing worked globally outside of, just in the U.S. in general, that would have been the phone of the year. The cameras on that thing, dare I say, better than the Pixel?
Oh, I would say better than most smartphones that came out in 2023. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this when I say the Honor Magic 5 Pro has some of the best cameras that I've ever used on a smartphone.
I agree 100%.
And I mean 100%. And that was something, and the story of the Honor Magic 5 Pro, and you've heard us talk about this phone previously on this channel. It was actually you, Tuna, who said, I'm going to order this because you couldn't get the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Is that right?
Correct. Yep, correct.
And you went and ordered this instead because it did have a global version. And I remember you talking about it and saying how amazing it was. And then I reached out to Honor, and they lovely, thank you very much, Honor, sent one out for a review through onecutReviews.com. I was smitten quickly. And it was in and out of my pocket, especially like in the very busy part of this year. It was chaos with smartphone releases this year. We've gone right up to December and phones are still coming out.
Yep.
Now, the Honor Magic 5 Pro was one of the ones that they sent out to me. And like I said, I was just enthralled by it. Like the cameras on that phone are second to none.
And you know why I bought it? You know why I bought that? For one feature of the camera. When you could, the AI detected action and automatically snapped the picture. And if you have kids, I mean, my kids, we have like a water park where there's like fountains and stuff, and they're running through there, and you just pointed at them. You don't have to hit a button. It for the most part, picked action shots, and they were always clear. And there was no, I mean, it was amazing. It's an amazing phone. It really is.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, again, I appreciate that you had an Android and an iPhone device there.
Well, I didn't mention my Apple device of the year, but it's
you didn't? Oh, you haven't mentioned it. Yes.
No, okay, but it's the 15 Pro Max, just because last year's Pro Max was so damn heavy. And this year, I don't care about the processor speed, but the titanium, I don't even care about that. It's just the fact that it was lighter and it made it more manageable in the hand. I think people who are iPhone users who had maybe a 14 don't really have to unless they really want that lighter. They also introduced a true zoom, which has not been kind of like periscope, not quite. So just for those two things, being lighter and having a periscope zoom, made it, for me, the best iPhone. I usually don't like the Max versions because of the weight, but this was a very good phone.
Yeah, and fair, and rightly so. Now, my phone of the year, my smartphone of the year is actually the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
No.
Yes. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Now, I've reviewed through One Cut Reviews. I've been.
Hold on. There's a sheep coming in here. Hold on.
Oh, I know. Hang on. I can hear it. No, I'll give my justification. So, you know, for those of you who have watched the podcast before and are following One Cut Reviews, we review a lot of phones throughout the year. And this year in particular has been a lot of Android devices, which again, I very appreciate all the companies that we operate with. Now, the 15 Pro Max, let me just preface this by saying I fucking hated the 14 Pro Max.
Me too.
I hated it so much that it sat in a drawer for the most part of last year. Like I'm going to say 5 to maybe 6 months of last year. It sat in the drawer because I could just not handle the weight, the crappy camera, all of that stuff was just bothersome to me. And to be honest with you, I had not fully planned on upgrading to an iPhone at all. I was going to let that thing die slowly in the drawer that it was stuck in. I got interested when they mentioned with the iPhone 15 release that they were going to be changing up some features and issues that I had with the last version. And Tuna mentioned some of these as well. Number one was the weight. The weight of the iPhone 14 Pro Max was ridiculous. It felt like a rock that you could, if you put in your pocket and jumped into a river, you would probably drown with. When they said they were releasing, they were going to use titanium, and that titanium would be much significantly more lighter. And after watching lots of hands-on videos, that was the first thing that got my attention. And for anybody that hasn't tried the iPhone 15 series and are maybe still using an iPhone 14 Pro series, go and try it in store. It's remarkably lighter than what you imagine an iPhone to be. It almost feels like a regular stock iPhone, as in like the aluminum side rails, glass construction. It feels very much like you're using a much cheaper iPhone. Now, don't mistake cheaper for lighter and better, because in the 15 Pro Max's instance, one of the things that we're finding is that, or one of the things that I found is, besides the weight, the cameras were vastly improved. The iPhone 14 Pro Max cameras were hot trash. They were garbage. I don't care what anyone says. I'll argue with you all day long. The iPhone 14 Pro Max cameras were the worst cameras ever to be on an iPhone.
And that's because the HDR, correct?
the HDR was garbage. Blowing out the highlights, killing the shadows, which it still does a little bit, but it's much, 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 much better. The new Smart HDR and the 15 Pro Max has made a world of difference. It's like, to me, reminds me like going back a couple of generations of iPhone, like around the iPhone 11, 12 series, where you saw a really good balanced quality of images across all of the cameras. And definitely the iPhone 15 Pro Max, for me, has been the phone of the year. Is it going to be my daily forever phone for this year? Absolutely not, because I do like to try Android devices as much as I do iPhones. But as far as consistency goes, as far as the phone that I would put in my pocket, if I was only going to use a phone for the rest of this coming year, I would stick with the iPhone 15 Pro Max if I had to. Now, as far as Android devices go, again, we've reviewed a lot of Android devices on the channel. The Honor Magic 5 Pro is there. Absolutely. It's definitely a worthy contender. And I mean, you could pick any of the Pixel line and all of those particular phones. But to be honest with you, I don't really want to tell you what my best Android device of the year is, because it might pop up a little later on in a later category. So I'm going to leave it as a surprise for now. I will stick to my one choice gun kind of decision, and I'll let Tuna be the fence sitter. No, I'm just kidding, Tuna.
No, I'm actually surprised you said the iPhone, but that's okay. It's a good phone. Nothing wrong with the iPhone.
Listen, I was a very dedicated iPhone user for years, and it was only in the last 3 or 4 years that I started experimenting and using Android devices. The Pixel series, especially from like the 6 onwards, that's what really turned my head away from the iPhone. And those, the Pixel is, stands to this day to be a great device. And again, there's lots of phones we've tried, but Android devices have been coming hard and fast in the past year. And I mean, we're already in the 1st of December today, and we still have one more phone coming out before Christmas, which is the Red Magic 9.
Well, I think that's going to be only released in China initially. It probably won't come here till next year.
Right. Okay. So we might be okay. We might be able to actually settle into
and
a
trust
device
me, the camera's nothing will not win any awards.
No,
I read the specs. It looks like it's pretty much the same as last year.
Yeah. Well, it did say on the product listing that it was going to have better cameras. So I don't know. We can hope and
we can
pray.
wish.
We can wish. Okay, let's move on to category number 2, which is best smartwatch. Tuna, I'm going to hand it over to you, buddy.
Oh, I get to go first again.
Yes. Don't worry. I got you.
Okay, so it's really easy just to say any Apple Watch. Ultra 1, 2, 9, whatever. I don't own an Apple Watch 9 or an Ultra anymore. I did have the Ultra 1, and I do have an Apple Watch 8. I have played with the newer models at local retailers. I'll just be honest. I do have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, but it kind of sits on my desk because there's so many other phones coming out.
Yeah.
And you're going to be surprised by this. My smartwatch of the year is the Pixel Watch 2.
Oh, controversial. There you go.
And here's why I'm going to say that. If you own the first of it version, it was terrible. And I don't mean terrible as in it didn't work. It had a crappy chip, which made it kind of stuttery and everything else. And it had terrible battery life. This year, they decided to go with the Snapdragon newer chipset. Nothing else has really changed. They've got some new health sensors, same connection, and I'm wearing it right now. It's hard to see on my camera, but I love it. And the battery life has been no better or no worse than my Apple Watch 8. I get roughly a day and a half or a little more, depending. Now, I do turn always on display off, but with it on, you get about a day. With it off, you get almost a day and a half to 2 days. So for me, it's the Pixel Watch 2. But on the flip side of that is if you're a diehard Samsung fan, you can't go wrong with the Watch 6 Classic.
Yes.
So I do a runner-up because I think if Samsung's been in the game so long that they're synonymous with Android watches.
Yeah.
So I think if that's the camp you're in, You can't go wrong with that. But I was disappointed with that. The screen's beautiful. It's big and it's bold. It's got the rotating bezel, but the battery life has been kind of meh compared to compared to the Pixel Watch. So that's my pick.
Wow. Okay. And you listen, I mean, we talked a lot about the Pixel Watch 2. We did have high hopes for it, and it has improved in some categories. And I think we should give it credit where credit is due.
You can't disagree with me.
I'm not allowed to.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Otherwise, I'm fired. But I think, battery and processing speed, I think, are good improvements for the Pixel Watch 2. I think we will see
and charging speed.
A redesign and charging speed. I think we will see more of a redesign in Gen 3. But consistency with Google has been pretty good this year. And the Pixel Watch 2 is definitely a good contender for smartwatch of the year, 100%. I agree with you. That's a very good choice. Now, for me personally, I've been on a little bit of a journey this year. I was, at the beginning of the year, was using the Apple Watch Ultra Gen 1. Using it pretty consistently, sat on my wrist for some time, and it still is a great device. Still, I would argue the best smartwatch. But not the best smartwatch for me. So for the past year, I've been on a bit of a journey where I've come to the realization that I'm not really a smartwatch person at all.
Ooh, I know where you're going with this.
And I'm looking for a more fitness-centric device. And I was hoping with the Pixel Watch 2 that they would focus a bit more on fitness. They have got a new heart rate sensor, and all of that stuff is nice. But I wanted something that was a little bit different, something that could give me metrics that, that I wanted 24-hour metrics. I didn't want to have to charge my device every other day. I didn't want to have to be in a situation where after, a year or 2 years, I'd have to replace it. So the smart watch that I've been using or rather anti-smartwatch that I've been using is actually the Whoop Band 4.0.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you some reasons why. For me, this year has been a lot about trying to minimize distractions that come from unnecessary places. And for one of the things that I was finding when I was wearing the Apple Watch Ultra is that I was constantly checking my wrist for notifications, for heart rate, for all of that kind of stuff. One of the advantages of the Whoop Band is that it can be worn 24 hours a day. The battery life's about 7 days. Consistently wearing it 24 hours a day. It doesn't come off my wrist. I have it on right now. You can see right there. But more importantly, you could charge it on your wrist and keep going about your day. Meaning that the charging puck actually charges the device on your wrist, which I think smartwatches should adopt. But more importantly is the app itself. Now, the app itself manages to accumulate immense amounts of data about your health, but more importantly, your recovery. And that's what I was looking for. I found when I was wearing the Apple Watch, I almost felt like I was overworking out, if that makes sense. Because it was a, how do we put this? Fitness enthusiast smartwatch, meaning that they wanted you to go hiking. They wanted you to go, deep sea diving and all of that. And I just found myself overdoing it. So when I saw with the Whoop that I could wake up in the morning and it would tell me in the app how recovered I am, how much sleep I got that night, how much strain I was doing in a given day, I find this kind of data more interesting to me than a smartwatch was giving me. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that smartwatches can do this too. But for me, the two big things were I wanted something that was very minimalist on my wrist that I could wear anywhere, anytime, from business meetings to whatever. But more importantly, I also wanted something that would give me recovery metrics and strain metrics that sometimes the Apple Watch just doesn't do very well.
Okay.
So for me, and I know this might be a bit of a cop-out, and I'm sorry if you're listening at home going, man, this guy, what a dickhead. He can't even pick a smartwatch.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah, pretty normal, I know. For me, this is the device that's been on my wrist. So, I mean, I guess if you wanted to say the best wrist-based wearable instead of smartwatch, for me, it would be the Whoop. And I just think that it has done everything I needed to do this year, and I'm okay with that.
And I think that's the important thing people have to realize. It's when we're listing these off, me and Darren don't always agree, and that's okay. Use what you like. These are what we like. No one in the world is going to think the Pixel Watch 2 is the smartwatch of the year, but me.
I don't know.
That's what it is.
Like some fans out there that are going, yeah, we agree. It's fantastic.
Yeah, those 3 fans are like, woo.
And it's been funny. I don't want to shoot shit at the Pixel Watch. I don't, but I will say this much.
That's all right.
I feel like the people that wear the Pixel Watch 2 are the people that got it for free with their Pixel 8.
I think partially, yeah. I think that's right. What I like about it, I just like the Fitbit integration got better. I don't care so much about like a lot of the metrics, but like the sleep tracking is pretty accurate. The only other option I had for tonight was the CMF Watch Pro, but I just can't.
Yes.
I just can't nominate that because it's a hell of a good price, $69 for a watch, but it does a lot of things wrong here for me in the US, and I just can't recommend it. But Pixel Watch.
And again, fairly so. And, again, please don't shoot the messages. We are just tech lovers, and this is what we think works best for us. Okay, on to category number 3. Best laptop or tablet. I'm going to jump in here on this one.
You go first this time.
I'm going to start the bidding on this one. So,
and before you announce this, any of you guys listening or in the future or on the podcast, if you feel like, hey, I want to purchase this product, please generously buy these from these companies and support them, especially if you agree.
100%. Yes, agreed. Now, for me, so the second part of my journey this year has been the realization that I am not a tablet user.
Ooh.
I have an iPad 2021 edition, whatever thing that is, 2021. It has been sitting in the same spot, uncharged, completely dead from battery, lack of battery, for about 60 days.
Wow.
The only time I was using it was to play video games with my son. Having said that, though, if you are somebody that's looking for a tablet, the one that I would recommend wholeheartedly would definitely be the iPad mini. Now, the iPad mini is not a 2023 release. And again, this might be a bit of a cop-out, but it's the only one in Apple's current lineup that I would argue is the perfect size for what you need it to be. And I always think of iPads and tablets as a portable, bigger screen for when you need it. That's how I look at it. And for people that are looking for something that gives a little bit more size to their screen to watch content on, perhaps do some editing, photo manipulation, whatever. I just feel like the iPad mini is the best choice that Apple currently has out. I'll be honest with you, I have only reviewed a handful of Android tablets. The other one, my second choice would be the OnePlus Pad, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And I just got that in my hands in the past couple of weeks. So that would be just a current, like one that's kind of caught my eye a little bit. I had the Pixel tablet. I'm going to say everything I need to say about the Pixel tablet right there.
Okay. Okay.
The Pixel tablet to me was not the go for somebody that's looking for an Android tablet. It very much so reminds me of just a blown up Nest device and just can't do what people need it to do.
Delvon's going to jump in here and rip you
I know.
apart.
He's pretty. It's pretty. He's pretty. Yeah, Delvon, you're pretty too.
You're pretty too.
It's pretty. It is pretty. And it has a beautiful dock. And it does some things right. Like web browsing. Yeah, it's pretty good for that. But if you wanted to do anything that required a little bit more horsepower, somebody that needs, presentations or stuff like that, I just don't feel like that's it.
Okay.
So my choice for best tablet or laptop of the year is the iPad mini.
Cop out.
Sorry,
I had something.
I know. Sorry. And the only reason, and listen, I went through. I thought about it. I had no intention of buying another iPad. I just don't.
Fair enough.
But if I had to, if I absolutely needed one for work or for a play or for whatever the reason may be, the iPad mini would be my choice because I feel like it's the perfect middle ground between laptop and phone.
Okay.
And that's the reason for that. So
Well,
that's
fair
my
enough.
choice. Over to you, Tuna.
So I've got two because there's always the high end that's really expensive, and some people just can't afford that. And there's also the more
Yes.
budget friendly. Now,
Okay.
this one I haven't, I didn't own personally, but I use many times just in passing. And that's the Samsung Tab S9 Ultra. So I went the complete opposite of Darren. Instead of saying, I need a small tablet just to get what I need done, the way I view the Samsung is it's got DeX, so you can plug it into any TV and have, or not even a TV, a monitor, and have a full-fledged, not a full-fledged, but a desktop-like experience. Had enough horsepower, you can do plenty of editing on video and pictures, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful device. And it's got a fantastic screen, and it's so thin, it's like razor thin. It's crazy how much they cram into this. I understand it's ultra wide. That's probably how they get things to fit. But that right there, just messing with, I know it's got the little notch there, but I'm telling you, it disappears in the screen, and it's fantastic. Yeah. And Samsung's come a long way with their tablet software. And quite honestly, in the Android space, they're probably the leader right now in the tablet space. Obviously, the last iPad I had was the one with the M1 chip. I think that's the 2021 or 20. I don't know. So I'm not a good judge of the new iPads, but I'm assuming if you have the M1 or the M2, you're not really getting much of a difference. Same with this. There isn't much of a difference but horsepower. But my budget pick is one that Darren already mentioned.
Oh.
And that is the OnePlus Pad. And you're thinking, why the hell are you offering this? Now, when this thing came out, it was, I think, $399, and then they wanted $150 for the keyboard and $100 for the stylo. What the hell they call that? I don't know.
Stylo, yeah.
But as you can see here, I got the case on it. It's got an interesting, camera in the middle. But they had a deal, and I'm not sure how long it's going to go. But they had it for $399 during Black Friday with the keyboard. So $399 with the keyboard, and then if you wanted the stylus in addition for $50, half off because it's $100 normal price, for $450. You got a whole entire thing. Before that Black Friday deal, it was like $750, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
you might as well get a
the
Samsung
price
device.
Is definitely not worth it. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this. I was kind of worried about the MediaTek Dimensity. I had a Lenovo Extreme, which was very similar to the Ultra line of Samsung, real big, and it had a Dimensity too, but I thought it was a 9000 plus. This is just a 9000. I've been pretty damn impressed with the performance. I mean, it is.
Yes.
It blows through anything that I've done with it. The only two issues I would say is there's no biometric security, so there's no, fingerprint reader, and it's got face unlock, but it's not real. It's just 2D, and it doesn't have any more than 128 gigs of storage. So you're not going to be doing a whole lot of editing unless you have a dock, and there is no video out. But for $399, and you got a keyboard, I've been using it, and it works pretty good. And I've got a couple updates. I think I'm on the October security update, so they've been pretty good with the updates. So I think if you guys are looking for a tablet that's affordable, you can't go wrong with the OnePlus. I can't speak about that for their foldables, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. All right. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's move on to the next category, which is best gaming console. I'm going to hand it over to you, Tuna.
Ooh, I love this one.
Right there.
So
go ahead, bud.
I am not a gamer on consoles. I am a computer gamer 100%. So that should probably get you to know where I'm going. Now, I'm going to name a couple things, but don't pull any pictures up yet. I have tried the Legion Go, the ROG Ally, and the Steam Deck. Now, I haven't tried the Steam Deck the OLED one. It's basically the same as the original Steam Deck. They got a new screen and smaller processor that's more efficient, but it's not any more powerful. Okay. But I would tell you right now, the Legion Go and the ROG Ally are not it. They're not it.
Ooh, okay.
Because it runs Windows 11, and Windows 11 does not look good on a tiny screen. And if you don't agree with me, I'm sorry. My gaming console of the year, and I don't know if it even came out this year, the Steam Deck. I guess you could say the Steam Deck OLED, I guess, if you want to, the newer one. I have the original one, and it's easily modded. Steam OS works fantastic, especially if you're a Steam user, and it's just amazing. It's got touchpads, it's got D-pads, it's got joysticks, it's got a touch screen. And the battery life is good. ROG Ally and the Legion are definitely more powerful, but you lose a lot of battery life. So everyone's like, oh, it's 800p or 700p. Who cares? If that small a screen, it's a fantastic option, and it plays every game I've thrown at it. So this is what I would say is my gaming console of the year. I know PS5 people's out there and Xbox, but nothing really has come out new, in my opinion, that can beat the Steam Deck.
Okay. And you wouldn't be the only person to say that. The Steam Deck has been very well received by a lot of consumers. I think it just happens to be the perfect size and weight and power needed for somebody that enjoys playing games. And at the end of the day, that's really kind of what it's about, right? Is can we find a handheld device that can give us the convenience of a gaming console like a PlayStation or an Xbox in a decent looking package and some battery life to accompany it. So
battery life's difficult. Battery life's the most difficult part in this. It really is.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. And what was the battery life like for you? I know you mentioned it, but what's the like? How long could you
on
play
Steam Deck? Man, I on average, it depends on the game and what settings you're at, but I'm averaging 3-ish to 4 hours, depending on what. And I'm not playing it all at once either. But the Ally, man, that thing died. Like you play a game, and it was obviously more powerful. It also had a lot more heat too.
Yes, right.
So,
and I mean, look, the OLED edition of Steam Deck just came out, I think, in the last month, if I got that right. And that just brings improvements to things like the display and just giving you a much kind of richer contrast, darker blacks, that kind of stuff. And
the price is, you can't beat the price.
What is the price of the OLED version? I'm just curious.
I want to say for the maxed out, it's like $550.
See, that's pretty good.
I mean, you can get the ROG Z1, not the extreme chipset, but for like $400. But you're running Windows 11. I'm sorry, Windows 11 is just not made.
Yeah, for that kind of.
It takes too many resources away from them. But either way, we can go into a rabbit hole with that. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, for me, I'm not a big gaming console guy. I have literally just got one I've been working on recently for Lenovo, which the review's coming soon. But for me, but the accessory that I use almost daily for everything that I type and edit on One Cut Reviews is actually this lovely looking thing. And this is the SteelSeries Apex 3 keyboard.
Okay.
So the SteelSeries Apex 3 keyboard is a fully fledged gaming keyboard. But what I love about it, and this is going to sound crazy, it has this beautiful matte black finish. Has brilliant, massive RGB lighting, really quiet, low friction switches, which is amazing. Especially if I'm typing early in the morning or late at night, don't want to wake up the family. But you also get like some, a built-in multimedia controls and just kind of like some smart things, like the top right-hand corner. I don't know if you can see that in the image there. Top right-hand corner of the keyboard, there's this little kind of like rocking dial switch, and that allows you to change the volume.
Really?
The volume, for me, that's massive because I'm always watching stuff on my PC here.
This might date me. Is that a mechanical keyboard too?
That is a mechanical keyboard. That is correct.
I like the clicky clicky.
I love the clicky clicky. I know people don't like it, but for me, that
I do.
That's a massive thing for me. And listen, it's been nothing but a rock star, and it's waterproof. And I'm not even making.
Ooh, you spill a little drink, of course, Kool-Aid or water, because you got to G Fuel. You got to game up while you're, drink up while you're gaming.
Yes. Yeah. So you can actually get it wet, dry it, and it will not die. And listen, I don't want to tell you what I'm doing. Yeah, you read my mind. Yeah. Nothing untoward, I promise. Nothing. Nothing is happening there. But it should.
You can game underwater, huh? Wow.
Right. Yes. So that has been a pretty awesome addition to my little setup here at home. And just kind of getting things done. It even comes with a nice little wrist rest in the box, which you can see in the picture there. It has the SteelSeries logo on it. And
that's really important. People don't realize how important that little wrist rest area is important. Yeah, for sure.
And out of the box too, which is you think that's like a bundle accessory, but you can control all of the RGB lights independently. You can make them whatever hell color you want. And yeah, generally speaking, it's been absolute rock star of a device as far as productivity is concerned. It's quiet, does what it needs to do. And yeah, 100%. The Grounded Tech said that the logo adds 10% frame rate per second boost. Yes,
You know what that sounds like? It's kind of like when I work, I like cars, and a lot of times when you put like a new exhaust on it, a lot of people will get a sticker in the box and they'll put it on their window and it's good for 25 more horsepower, as they say.
Yes.
Before you move on to the next category,
yeah,
I want to do a special. How do I want to do this? Honorable mention, and I love this, but I don't know if I consider it a console. I'm going to share it on the screen first.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll stop sharing.
This is the Playdate. I love this thing so much. I have it, and they have a catalog now. Before you had to go on the website, log in, and download it. But what's cool is they allow you to sideload games. And the crank, it sounds really weird, but that thing makes games just that more interactive. Now, this game here,
what does the crank do?
So it depending on the game, it's used in the game. Like there's a surfing game where you can use that to control your surfer. There's a game where you have to control time, so you have to go forward and backward. It's nothing. It's not backlit. It's just black and white. But the community of developers, and they even have a what do they call it? Like an APK for your desktop, so you can actually like emulate games if you're working on them. It's very open source. The community is fantastic, and they're even coming out with a stereo dock. I have no idea how that's going to work. But like I said, it's nothing more powerful than a Game Boy, but it's just that much cooler. So that's just my honorable mention for gaming console.
Now you said Playdate, not JDate, the Jewish dating website, right?
No. Playdate.
Playdate, right? Just wanted to confirm there,
just to give a side note, I don't actually know for a fact, but I know when it came out, it was sold out for forever. So it still may be impossible to get right now because they're still like slowly releasing them because they can't keep up with demand. But it says add to cart. I just don't know if it'll be shipped. Their estimated delivery is January of 2024. So if you order it now,
okay, so you might actually get it for the new year, which is.
But they're $199, which is kind of steep.
Which is insane, really, if you think about it.
But it's amazing. It's quality.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. Shall we move on? Are we ready to move on to the next one?
I don't know.
Okay, let's move on to the next category. I'm going to kick things off with this one. This is the best headphones or earphones of 2023. So, this was a tricky one for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I've reviewed a lot of earphones and I've tried a lot of earphones in the past year, and I love them all. I'm one of these people that listen. If it has good bass and the audio sounds crispy, I'm good. I'm not a very discerning listener. I'm sorry. You could give me $1,000 pair of headphones and I'm going to think that.
So you don't want to hear the fingers cross over the chords of the guitar as you're listening.
Listen, I couldn't give it. I'm being honest. I would rather. Listen, I'm the kind of guy who sings in the car, so I'm that guy. So if I'm singing out loud, I ain't hearing shit anyway. So, and that's kind of the way I think it. But having said that, the one pair that really caught my attention as far as sound quality is concerned is actually find the picture. It is the Soundcore Space Q45s. Wow. Now, part of the reason that I love these earphones is their price. So currently, $129 for this pair of earphones. Now, let me give you the spec list, and you tell me if this is worth $129. So you have noise canceling.
Okay.
50 hours of uninterrupted battery life. That's straight playing at full volume. 50 hours in one sitting. You have also mixed in there. I'm just giving up some more details here. What else we got going on here? Sorry. Bluetooth 5.3. So the most latest Bluetooth protocols, if you will. You also have amazing microphones on these headphones. And I can't understate how good the microphones are on this. Now, they say on their website here that they're AI enhanced calls. I don't know what that means. From what I understand, it helps pick up your voice more. Is probably a
Right.
good way to put it.
Background noise elimination, maybe too. Who
So
knows?
yeah, so 2 mics with an AI algorithm running in the background. Fast charging, and I want you to hear this for a second. I'm not making this up. This is a real statistic. In a 5-minute charge of the Q45s, you will get 4 hours of playtime. In 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 4 hours of playtime. So let's say you're on a busy, I don't know, you're a commuter and you forgot to charge them the night before. Throw them on before you go and jump in the shower, 5-10 minutes, whatever. You're getting out and you're having a whole day battery. You have a whole day battery. Now, sound-wise, it has high-res audio, all of the stuff that you would normally expect from a decent pair of headphones, adaptive ANC, all of that stuff. Now, listen, again, I'm not a discerning listener, but as far as sound and battery and microphone quality goes, and at $129, the Q45s from Soundcore are probably the most affordable, high-end feeling headphones that I've used this year. And I've reviewed a few of them. I'm usually an earphones guy, so shove and shit things in my ear. But ones that go over the ear, these are definitely my recommendation for what I would consider to be some of the best headphones money can buy in 2023.
And just to piggyback off that, if you are in the market for headphones, earbuds, whatever, Soundcore makes some very, very good products. The only reason why I didn't nominate those for mine is because the earbuds that I use from Soundcore did not come out in 2023. But they make fantastic products, and you guys, I'm telling you, go to their website, check them out, because they make fantastic products, and you will not be disappointed. Now, again, if you're paying $10 for a pair of earbuds, don't expect the world. But I'm saying they do make some quality products for some very, very good prices.
And remember, the company behind Soundcore is the company Anker, and Anker have been making, smartphone accessories for years now. So, they have a backing there. They have a quality assurance kind of thing from the likes of Anker. Again, for me, I'm not somebody that would go and spend $500 on a pair of headphones. I'm just not. I'm not that person. But for somebody that's looking for a great pair of headphones that sound really good, have great noise canceling, have amazing battery at $129, I mean, come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where it is, where it's at.
Okay.
I have a little bit of a runner-up here, actually.
Oh,
my runner-up, and I hopefully I'm not stepping on your toes here, Tuna, is actually the Pixel Buds Pro. So the Pixel Buds Pro, I know, largely speaking, people either love or they hate. They're the most consistent earphones that I've owned. Easy to pair, great battery life, look good, do everything that needs to be done.
Sure.
And work well with my Pixel device. That's all I'm going to say. That's my runner-up, and I think I stepped on Tuna's toes, so let's keep going.
No. My toes are fine. The one toe still is getting better, but either way.
Oh, right, yes. You one that you almost lost in a freak accident.
Right. So as you can see, I'm more distinguished, and I always drive around town asking for Grey Poupon out of my window. So I actually these are over the ear headphones. I'm not a huge fan of these because when I wear earbuds, I'm usually active, and these are not conducive to active moving. And these are just some cheap ones. But for me, earbuds of the year, and you guys might be surprised to hear this, and I do have a runner-up as well, Darren.
Okay.
The OnePlus Buds Pro 2.
Ooh.
In green,
All
and
right.
just like the tablet I just showed you, and just like the OnePlus 11, they have that that green color.
So you're saying you want them in green? I'm going to pull up a green picture here.
You don't have to get them in green.
There you go.
They're a little unique the way they fit in the ear, but the sound quality is amazing, and they have a lot of things going for them: battery life, wireless charging, quality build, hi-fi audio, high-res codecs, all that support. And it's a reasonable price, of course, coming from OnePlus. And I don't know off the top of my head, I don't have the price because I've had mine for, I think I paid $179, maybe.
Let me see if I can find your pricing in 1 second.
But either way, these are the ones I would pick for my earbuds of choice. They stay in your ear, and I like the ones that actually have the rubber tip that goes into the ear, because it not only helps with active noise cancellation, but it also does the passive, and it sticks in your ear when you're running.
Right.
I had
You know what? Yes, go ahead.
No, I had a conundrum, because those are the earbuds I like to run with. But there's also ones that kind of like Apple AirPods that just kind of stick in your ear, just sit in your ear, I should say. I wanted to nominate the Nothing ear sticks, but they were released last year, so I did not mention those. But my runner-up, is the Pixel Buds Pro, just like you. And before I go any further, though, I think these were released last year, weren't they?
Yes, but they have updated them software-wise.
Exactly. So the reason why I nominated these is because they kind of re-released them with that new blue, the Bay blue. Yes. And they did some software updates. Now, the reason why it's not the number one is because I'm still not a huge fan of the sound quality. They're good. They're very good, but not quite as good as other ones. But that software, have you tried the clear calling works great. Oh, not the translation. I haven't tried that, but the clear calling when you're walking around, like I was walking my dog and like wind blowing in my face, and I was making a phone call and it worked fantastic. They couldn't hear any sound or any wind, according to them. The other thing is it picks up your voice. So I'm listening to music and I'm walking and my dog starts barking and I can yell, and it automatically turns off the music so you can be aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
And unlike Sony's past attempts with that, which it may have gotten better, it's pretty intelligent. Of course, it's Google, so they're using AI to do that. So for me, it's the Pixel Buds and the Google Buds, both the Pro editions. This is the second generation of the Pros for OnePlus and the first generation for Google. But I mean, Google's got a better size, I think. But yeah, we can go back and forth for hours. But yes.
Oh, of course, yeah. And I mean, look, again, everybody has their preferences when it comes to earbuds. But the Pixel Buds Pro, they're a solid pair of earphones for people looking for, again, affordable, great sound, nice AI. And if you have a Pixel device, why not? It pairs really well and gives you all of those lovely.
But honestly, those Pixel Buds work great with any Android device.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, yes. That's the beauty of Android. Well, I guess Apple's the same way, but
no, and 100%. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, if it works for you, it works for you, right?
No, that's not how it works. If it works for me, it's going to work for everyone else. You have to take what I say.
Yes, we'll just go fuck ourselves. Okay, let's go to the next category. I'm going to start this one, I think. I'm going to jump in. We're going best folding phone.
Ooh. This one's gonna start some fights, I think.
Shit's gonna get real right now. What I did is I took my iPhone, I snapped it in half, and I made the best folding phone.
There you go.
I don't have a picture of it because it's broken. No, I'm just kidding. One day we're gonna be talking best folding phone, and Apple's gonna be...
Well, before you announce it though.
Yes.
Folding market is exploding. At least it's been exploding for a while across the world. But in the US and North America, we have been limited in pretty much Samsung only. We recently had a Google device, and then we also know that OnePlus has released a device. So it's going to be interesting to see what Darren's going to say here.
You're putting me on the spot. All right. Okay, so best folding device. I used the Z Fold 5, I used the Pixel Fold, and I used the OnePlus Open this year. So it's going to be one of those three devices. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here.
I think I'm going to be the same with you.
Later on, we're going to talk flop of the year.
Oh, never mind. Nope.
One of these three phones is my favorite foldable, and one of them is the flop of the year.
Ooh. If the flop is my favorite, you're going down.
Yeah.
I'm coming to Canada.
Let's talk. Favorite folding phone of the year. And again, preface this by saying I used a lot of them. Z Fold 5 for at least 3 or 4 months. I used the Pixel Fold for a long time, and just recently the OnePlus Open. Now I should mention here in Canada.
Oh, come on, you're holding up too much.
We can't get the Google Pixel Fold, so I had to import that at a very high cost, and I'll come back to that. That's just, it is what it is. And I love all of these devices equally. Maybe two of them.
I love this one right here.
Yes, Gravitech.
Ben Gate.
Best folding device. Ben Gates. That's correct. So for me, the best folding phone of the year, and this is, I'm a little bit on the fence about this, and I'll tell you why, is the OnePlus Open. So the OnePlus Open has everything you want going for it. Great build. It's light, amazing cameras, barely noticeable fold in the middle. It works well. It's priced well.
I like it. It works well.
Yeah, it's priced. It's a great phone. It really is. But
enough.
I also know that foldables aren't for everybody. And you would be crazy to pay for this full price if do a trade-in. That's the first thing I'll say. But I just want to preface this by saying mine was not without its issues. Now, I had issues with my service, as in I had trouble receiving text messages and phone calls.
Now, hold on. The service issues, is that just because you live in Canada?
No, it's not. I thought that too.
Okay,
the two tin cans that hold up our cell phone tower. No. I tried different SIM cards and I had the same issue. I tried it on 2 different devices and had the same issue. And that's eventually what led to it being returned. Now, why is it my favorite phone of the year? So my favorite folding phone of the year, and the reason this is my favorite folding phone of the year, is what OnePlus has managed to do. And OnePlus has managed to push the envelope here. They've managed to say, we can do it better. And if anything, and the only reason that the OnePlus Fold should be the folding phone of the year is because, all things considered, it's a very good smartphone. But it will push folding phone development forward next year. And I think Samsung and I think Google are going to come out of the gate hot next year. And I think next year you're going to be looking at, and this is my prediction, best smartphone, not folding phone of the year, is going to be a folding device.
Ooh, hot take.
I'm throwing that out there. That's my prediction. I said it December 1st, 2023. I forget the year for a second then. That's why the OnePlus Open is my favorite folding phone.
Wow.
And that is anything. You had it too, Finos. Am I that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a whole bag of garbage you just said. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so mine's a little controversial too. I didn't own the the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5, but I used it a lot. I had the OnePlus Open, and I still have the Pixel Fold.
Right.
So the OnePlus Open wasn't for me. It was light, which at first I thought was a good thing, but actually it made it feel different for me. It felt like a normal phone in the hand more than any other foldable. But opened, it felt more like an iPad, like a big square. And I am not a square.
Yes.
The aspect ratio wasn't for me. And the cameras, I hate to say this, Darren, did not live up to the hype. For me.
Okay. Yeah.
And then and I had no reception issues with mobile, but I had terrible Wi-Fi performance. And it kind of went up and down. The Fold 5 is a fantastic device because Samsung's on their 5th generation. Software is there. Cameras are pretty good. But the aspect is kind of strange when you're holding it. For me, and Delvon's going to like this, my folding phone of the year.
It was using the wrong camera. There you go.
My folding device of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Pixel Fold.
Google. You can say the Google. Stop music.
Okay.
It's the Google Pixel Fold. And here's why. It's heavy, but I like that. It's got a wide screen when you open it. Everyone's like, oh, the bezels. Like Mr. Who's the Boss. Oh, the bezels. They made the hinge purposely like that, and that's why the bezels are there. And you actually got a proper camera that's not covered by the screen.
Correct.
And I like the squatted nature of it closed. It's not always great. But for me, the Pixel Fold, the cameras are better than... I would say I enjoyed the Pixel Fold cameras better than the Samsung and the OnePlus. The biggest thing for me is the aspect ratio when opened. The one thing I didn't like is that it doesn't really open flat. But that's the only thing after using it. Yes, the processor's not fast, blah, blah, blah. But for the average person, they're going to be just fine with this device. So, Darren, your OnePlus can shove it.
Fair enough. L1, I'm going to assume that your favorite folding phone is also the Pixel Fold.
Don't assume. What happens when you assume?
This is true. Sorry.
Well, at least he's assuming right.
I thought Delvin was gonna say the Honor.
No, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, but I don't think it's the best one. I don't think it's the best one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that biased, man. People be thinking I'm really biased when it comes to this Pixel stuff, but I'm really not. I recognize stuff that's better than the Pixel, but it doesn't mean that it's better for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because it's better, don't make it better for everyone. It's, I love the Pixel UI and experience, so I would pick a crappy Pixel over any superior other phone with a UI that I don't like, or an experience that I don't like. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pixel. I mean, well, the phone. Are we talking about foldables of the year? Are we talking about
yes, foldables right now.
Yes.
The foldable, yes, the foldable.
Okay, I'm easily gonna go say Samsung. I'm easily gonna say that, and it's not even. I get it. The form factor sucks. I don't like it. I don't like OnePlus haven't been around long enough to earn that title personally. They just dropped the foldable. Samsung got 5 years on it. We kind of know what to expect from them with a foldable. Everyone knows Samsung's name. Samsung has all the features that you would want in a foldable and everything like that. So I don't think that Google or OnePlus actually deserves that title as the best foldable. If we just talk about form factor, that's negotiable. I mean, not negotiable, that's subjective between the user, because some people like the candy bar, some people like the book, and some people like the OnePlus square one. I don't know what to call it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's all different. So yeah, I would just say Samsung because Samsung is what I would recommend to people, but I would, still talk about the other foldables that we do have. I would like, hey, what you need to do with your phone, and it's the real question. So, yeah.
And to piggyback off that, Samsung, I would say for the average, for me, the Pixel Fold is my favorite. But I think you said, well, OnePlus is going to push things further. I think Google being more known than OnePlus for the average consumer, I think Google jumping in is more important than OnePlus because no one knows what OnePlus is. We do.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think Google is going to just, with the Gen 2, I think, I hope the form factor stays similar, but I hope they really, I just hope they really pick up their game and make it a little more, I don't know. It's a good device. It needs some tweaks. It's a first generation device for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
I agree with that.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Sorry, sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, no, I don't have nothing to say. I just said I agree with that.
All right, so let's move on. We're now into our final 4 categories, and these are the big ones. These are the ones that you showed up for. So for those of you at home who are listening, we're going to go with next. And
I showed up for the whole thing, Darren. What are you talking about?
True. Yes, it's true. I'm going to start with you, Tuner, on this one.
What's this,
it's
overhyped?
The most overhyped product of the year.
Oh. Now, I went different for this because we've been focusing mainly on phones and phone things.
Correct, yes.
Except for the gaming console.
So tell me, what is your choice, Tuna, for the most
twofold. It's two things. It's
two things. All right.
But they're both very similar. It's the Logitech G Cloud and the Razer Edge.
Oh, hang on.
And if you guys don't know what these things are, they're basically gaming-centric Android devices that are made to run cloud gaming. The biggest reason why this is overhyped is because you can do this on your phone. And I think the Razer Edge pretty much looks like a phone with a thing attached to it. And I don't understand why anybody would buy this. This is not a Steam Deck. This is not a Switch. It's totally different than either one of those. And see, it looks like a phone, but it's not a phone. So those two devices for me are way overhyped. And I shouldn't say overhyped because I don't think they really sold well. And I think you can get the G Cloud now for like $200. But for me, if you got a $1,100 Samsung S23 Ultra or even a Pixel 8 Pro that people say isn't powerful enough, it's plenty powerful to do cloud gaming. So.
Oh, 100%. And, again, with all of these gaming consoles, I mean, they seem to be like hit and miss, where sometimes they're amazing, other times they're, ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, for you, Tuna, I'm assuming you game more than I do.
I'm not a big gamer, but I probably game more than you. But Razer tried this before. If you guys remember, there used to be like a device. It looked like a game controller, but the screen flipped out, and it ran a version of Android. At the time, it was unique because Android and handhelds weren't really known for gaming.
Yes.
But now you can, hell, I mean, the new iPhone, you can plug into it and play Resident Evil. I mean, that's their claim to fame. But I just think that these things are unwarranted, and it's just a money grab. I mean, they tried, but it's not going to fly, in my opinion.
Fair. Delvon, anything come to mind on your most overhyped product of the year?
Wow. It's a lot of them. But look, let me just say this real quick before I say this. I'm using my Pocket 3 right now to record this video. I just want everybody to understand what I'm using. I literally just plugged it up to my MacBook, and it's working just like that. No problem.
Nice.
Easy peasy. I just set it up.
Pocket 3, who makes that? Yeah, Osmo, right?
Yeah,
whatever
DJ Osmo.
Yeah, dang, I like that.
It tracks, right?
I think you posted something that's on social media, and I almost bought it just because of that tracking feature. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then like the products, it'll focus on the product, and then it'll come back to you and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. All right, so most hyped product. just want everybody to know this Pocket is my new thing. This stream is not about this, so let me stop this. I'm gonna go with the iPhone.
Oh, hot take.
All right, so every year, the iPhone seems to be the hot topic and overhyped for everyone. I mean, it's the most tech that's compared to everything: professional cameras, professional video cameras, other phones, benchmark scores, gaming consoles, just everything. It's like Apple iPhone is comparable to everything in the world, and it's always been like that. So it's always the most hyped product, and at least in this tech world, right? In the tech world where phones and stuff at, because that's what we're kind of talking about. But there is a lot of other tech out here that's really hyped, but it's always overhyped, bro.
Yes,
literally.
100%.
Camera feature, yes, and it's the one that I feel like this, and it's not even just hyped. Each year is hyped all year round. Like
yes,
to everything, anything that comes out. I mean, if Samsung drop a new refrigerator right now, they're gonna have a whole video comparing the iPhone with the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how bad it is. So yeah, I won't go with the iPhone, and it ain't a specific iPhone. It's just every iPhone that comes out during that year. Period.
And what's interesting, Delvon, is that we talked about phone of the year, and I mentioned the S23 Ultra just because of its versatility, and Darren mentioned the iPhone 15 Pro. I mentioned for iOS users, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is it. They don't have any other choice. And if you're an iPhone user, you don't have, unless you go for the iPhone Plus, but I mean, I'm saying you don't really have an option except for sizes. So you don't, for us, we can go like I'm going to assume, and again, I'm assuming this, let's say you prefer the Pixel 8 Pro. That might work for you, but someone might like the S23 Ultra, or as a grounded tech Dan would like the Sony. For Android users, we have a lot more options. So I think that's a big stipulation for people that if you're an iPhone fan, you don't have any other choice but the iPhone 15. You really don't.
That's it. Yeah,
I do agree with that. I think that these awards need to be broken down in that sense, because you can sit here and claim the iPhone to be phone of the year, but then you give it to somebody and they absolutely hate it, but it won phone of the year. That means you're supposed to like it, right? Because it's phone of the year. So I think that you're right. It needs to be broken down to which iPhone is the phone of the year. And it will always kind of be the new iPhone. There's no choices, right? But then when it comes to Android, there's more choices to choose from on the market. So you can kind of break down each Android phone to see what fits people the most. Did y'all already do phone of the year?
Yes.
That was our first category.
Yeah, for Android, I picked the S23 Ultra. Yeah, and then Darren picked the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I picked the iPhone 15 Pro Max for the iOS user. What would you pick for phone of the year? I kind of already know.
Go with. Okay. No, you don't.
Oh,
no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I love that. That's awesome.
I would say it's not a pro phone. I'm gonna tell you that now.
Okay.
I would say I really want to say the 6A, the Pixel 6A, but I feel like
this year.
Oh God, we gotta pick one that came out this. Oh my gosh!
You could say the 7A.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go with. Did the 7A come out this year?
I
Yes.
think yes.
It did, right? Yeah, because the next year is the 8A, right? Yeah,
Correct.
I'm gonna have. I don't want to say that because the price. That's the problem. Like,
Right.
all right, so the way I'm thinking in my head with these awards, right? I'm thinking about a phone. If I'm gonna name a phone of the year, right? I have to think about the average person, not like us, right? We will always go pro models. We go to the
Yes.
store and we're like, give me that $1,000 phone, give me that $1,200 phone. But the average person, they're not spending that type of money on these phones, right? Even though these phones still do sell, but people are buying more cheaper. There's more cheaper phones in people's hands than there are the expensive phones out here. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. So I would have to go with 7A since that's the one that came out. But I do think the 6A price point and what they offer is like a better deal for most people, literally. So I'll say the 7A would be the phone of the year for this year, 2023.
And at $375 during Black Friday, that's a hell of a deal.
And that's the point I'm getting at as far as
what do you
that.
have on iOS? What do you have on iOS? The
Yeah.
SE that's been what 2-3 years old now? Nah, not
to be honest with you, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, with iOS is just gonna have to be like the Pro. I wouldn't even say the Pro Max. I would say just the regular base Pro. When it comes to iOS, because the Pro Max is just too much phone for a lot of people. Just because the tech community loves it and loves all the bells and whistles doesn't mean the average person do. My wife, she gives 2 cents about any of that stuff. So
yeah. So for me, the most overhyped product of the year. Let me see if I can do this right. Hang on a second. This one.
Ooh,
the Motorola Razr Plus.
Sam is coming after you. Sam is coming after you.
So I was an original Razr user from way back when. And I have always wanted to invest in the Razr foldables. The first few generations were kind of meh. And all of a sudden, out comes the Razr Plus, and it looks like this. It looks beautiful. It's got a beautiful outside display. Looks really good in renders. I bought it. It went back in 8 days. Now, part of the reason why is the hinge. When I got my hinge, and I'm not even making this shit up, my hinge was crunchy from day one. When I opened that thing, opened it and closed it, it felt like I was crunching a fucking cookie between it each time I opened and closed it. And I don't know if I thought it might have been just like teething issues. I gave it a good week and a bit. I, opened and closed it multiple times to see if it was just some dust or whatever. I don't even know. That sound drove me fucking insane. Then I tried to take a photo, and that sealed the deal.
Yeah.
The photo, the camera on the Motorola Razr Plus is about as good as the Motorola Razr from the fucking 90s. And I'm not overselling that. It was the camera quality is just not there. Motorola doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Only on this device. I can't speak for some of their higher end.
No. Motorola across the board, even their what was the flagship slab they had?
Edge Plus.
They have good hardware. The software isn't there. Just like OnePlus, they have all the hardware in the world, but they just can't get the software to work. So I agree with you in the Motorola camera. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. So for me, that was the most overhyped product. There was lots of very positive talk. Everyone buying it, saying how amazing it is. I got it home and I was like, meh, not for me. And it went back to Motorola, and surprisingly, they didn't care. They were just like, sure, we'll take it. Just having a look at the chat here really quickly, just as a little pause here. Adidas says overhyped product for him is the Apple Vision Pro, but not yet, Adidas.
Yeah,
not yet, buddy.
It's not out yet.
That'll be next year. That'll be next year. All right, let's move on. So next category is Comeback Kid. Now, Comeback Kid category is a company and or product that seemingly has been resurrected or seemingly has come back into its own and is now again a legitimate contender in the space.
Ooh.
I'm going to go first on this one, if it's okay. So I had to think hard about this one. This was tough.
Okay.
Now, you may not argue that this device is the comeback kid, but I'll explain myself in just a moment. The comeback kid for me, and hopefully this is not going to piss people off, but understand it's all in good vein.
I'm already pissed.
Is the Pixel 8 series.
What?
Oh, man.
What?
So,
Comeback? What are you talking about?
We ain't never left.
No, and let me explain myself. What I mean, for me, for the comeback kid, the Pixel 8 series, and the sole reason that it wins this title for me is that a lot of the issues I had with the 7 and the 6 have seemingly been fixed and rectified. And now the Pixel 8 series phone is probably one of, if not the best Android device you can buy when it comes to things like fluidity, software, cameras. It's now the all-rounder that Google wanted it to be.
Interesting.
Not without its issues. And again, every device has issues. And me personally, I haven't really had that much. I had some issues with my front-facing camera. That seemingly got fixed in a software update just recently. But everything else for me has been very, very, very good since then. And in fact, the more and more I use the Pixel 8 Pro, the more I'm enjoying it. In fact, more so than the 7 Pro from last year and the 6 Pro from the year before that. So for me, comeback kid, Google Pixel line. They did it. They made a flagship phone that actually is the shit. Delvon, what do you think about that? What's your choice, by the way, Delvon?
Comeback kid.
My choice would be OnePlus. I'm gonna go with OnePlus.
Okay.
Oh,
Like the brand,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, like
Good
the
one.
brand in general. I don't even want to designate like it to a phone because at one point we all never even talked about OnePlus. None until this year. Literally, they stepped foot into the arena. They put out some tech, and then now we're all buzzing about it. From their foldable to their even their OnePlus 12 that's dropping. The hype is really real. So I want to say that OnePlus has made a good comeback because Google to me already been in the game. They just need to get their devices together, and they did. But OnePlus as a company wasn't even in the game. They even pulled them from out of the stores down here. So I want to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if you had said to me earlier this year that people would be talking about OnePlus at the end of 2023 in a positive way, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And that's kind of like the point I'm getting at is that we wasn't even talking about them. We weren't even thinking of them as a contender at all. It was Apple, Samsung, and Google, at least here in the United States, if anything, right? And then of course, across seas, you got all the Chinese phones. But we're talking about, I'm referring to in the US. Like they're number 4 now. You got Google as number 3, Samsung number 2. No, actually, probably, I don't know. Samsung and Apple is like neck to neck. It's hard to put one at the top. It's just that iMessage is popular. So as far as phone go, I think there's more Samsung phones out here. So Samsung would be first, then Apple, and then Google, and then OnePlus is making moves. But that's really it's really amongst the tech community though. If you're thinking about it though, it's not really about the average person. You don't see OnePluses out in public. But
not yet.
I would say
maybe next year.
They're gaining traction. Yeah, they're gaining traction in the tech community. So I'm giving them that award amongst the tech community.
And I agree with him. I think OnePlus has always made pretty good devices. They just flew under the radar. And I think the Open kind of opened them up a little more. Again. No pun intended. You see Maddie in the chat here just said, I agree. I think the Open is the most overhyped device. Now, that's a hot take. I think it's a very good device. I think it's really... Foldables are very mixed bag right now. It depends on what you like. Yeah, it's very polarizing. For me, the comeback kid, I don't know if it's really a comeback. It's this right here. Oh, upside down there. The Nothing brand. And here's why I say that. Nothing started with what? An ear stick, just earbuds. Then they had the sticks. Then they had the earphones. Then they had the One. And the One was a very good, interesting device, but it was a mid-range device. But it got their name out there, and they tried something different. With the Nothing Phone 2, while I still feel it's overpriced for what it is, it's something unique in the segment. And I think, like the company Essential, minus all the sexual allegations from the CEO, they, Essential made one device so they could update it, and Nothing is taking in the community like they did with the CEO who runs Nothing, used to run OnePlus. And it was based on community like Xiaomi. And they
Yes.
take a lot of information from their people and they make their products better. And now they've branched into the CMF, which makes more budget-friendly stuff like the watch, the earbuds, and the charger. I don't really care about the charger as much, but the earbuds are really good. I have a pair of those upstairs, and I also have the watch, which is getting better, but it still needs more time. So for me, the comeback kit is them. And I think there was even, I don't know who the company was, listed that as their favorite phone of the year. Do you remember who that publication was?
CNET, maybe?
Nah, I don't know if it's seen. Well, someone a big publication had actually listed it as their phone of the year,
Right.
and I think they're getting better. They're listening to the consumers. The cameras are decent. The glyph interface is unique. It's got you can make your own ringtones. It's just overall, I think Nothing has got something going, and I think they had some side steps with Sunbird and Casetify or whatever it's called, but those are minor things. They're just trying, and I'd rather see a company try and fail and learn than not try at all.
Correct. Yeah. Agreed. And the Nothing phone has. I think a lot of people would agree that it's probably maybe even a contender for phone of the year for a lot of people in their books, right? Like you said. I mean, I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but
no,
not really a bad option for everything that's out there, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Maddie just said in the tech, he thinks the Razer 2023, not the Plus, the regular, cheaper version, comeback kid.
Nope.
International release, clean OS. Maddie doesn't realize that I just called the Motorola Razer Plus.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He said he disagreed with you.
Okay. Right, he disagreed. Okay.
I'm not listening to anything Maddie says because he's not on here telling us. So nope. That
go.
point of view does not count.
Okay. Final two categories. Here we go. We have flop of the year and MVP. Tuna, I'm going to start with you. Flop of the year.
You're going to love this. Not phone, not a phone at all. Not a laptop, not a smartphone.
Okay. Please don't say your penis.
Well, I mean, no. Flop of the year. And you can tell by the price drop, drastic price drop as well. The Dyson Zone headphones. I own a pair of those. Now, before you guys roast me, I didn't pay for them. But when they came out, they were $1,000. Dyson's now selling them for $499, and I've seen them on, I don't know if you guys heard of a website called Woot, W-O-O-T. They have they had it for like $379. So that's a terrible picture.
I completely forgot about the Dyson headphones.
Exactly. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
So the Dyson Zone headphones are actually very good headphones. They sound really good, but they weigh about 3 cinder blocks. They have some weird compressors in both, and that mask blows cold. I guess not cold, but air that's filtered with. It's just a mess. And honestly, if you're looking out for COVID, which is still a thing, this isn't going to help you. I saw a few things.
Yes.
But the only thing I saw this was beneficial was when they had those wildfires, because Canada starts all the fires. And people in New York were Canada. People in New York were using them. They said there's a little bit of benefit of not inhaling smoke, but they probably shouldn't have been outside anyways. So for me, this is the biggest flop. They are top quality wise. I mean, they're built they're built great. Except for the little mask that's in front of this guy's face is all plastic. But really, $1,000 for the entry level, and I think it was like $1,200 for the copper one. It's even $500. No way. I would say if these came out for $300, they'd be worth it just because they sound good, and the app is very well made. But this is the biggest flop of the year.
I'm not going to lie to you now. When you whip those out 20 podcasts ago, and you put them on and you were wearing them to podcast, I actually was like, Tuna's lost his fucking mind. He's gone off the deep end. That
was my AI.
Oh, right. Yes.
I have them upstairs, and I honestly keep forgetting I have them. I keep wanting to pull them out and just listen to them as headphones. But the biggest drawback is like, I want to use them right now for this live, but they only do Bluetooth. They don't have like a physical, and I can't do that when I'm live streaming.
Well, you got to remember, Dyson have since now released the headphones as a standalone product without the mask.
Right.
So they've released. So I mean, there's got to be merit in the fact that they sound okay. They're probably still heavy as fuck. I imagine.
I didn't know this. So the ones they released without the mask, do they still have the compressors in them, or they take the compressors out?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because they're $500 on their website, but I didn't really pay attention. So I'm going to say this right now. I didn't pay for mine, but if you go out and buy the ones now that are $500 and they don't have the compressor or the mask, mine's still better because I.
Yeah, it's true. You have the OG.
You guys could be jealous. I know Dalvon and Darren and whoever else, Dan. You guys all look at that and you're like, man, I want to be like Terminator and wear that mask, or Will.I.am and whatever.
It looks really
whatever.
Cool. It looks cool.
Well, did you guys remember Will.I.am? His mask he came out, the super mask.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I have that too. I got that for free as well, and that thing lights up, has a filter, and has Bluetooth earbuds built in. But anyways, go ahead.
Know. Just because it's our last show of the year, I want to. Oh no! I think we all remember this.
I'm leaving.
I showed you guys a video a couple years back, and
see, Dalvon, I can leave. If you try to get off the screen, it's gonna follow you, but I can get off the screen. See?
I can't go nowhere. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
all I'm gonna say here is, still to this day, the greatest video ever made, and we played this on a previous podcast.
Are we gonna get copyrighted again?
No, we won't. We didn't get copyrighted the first time, so I don't think it's gonna happen this time. This is Will.I.am at his best. This is
a
mask.
Oh, this song, amazing song.
I personally love when it picks up. Wait for it. Okay, probably one of the greatest videos ever made.
I can't believe E.T. or Will.I.am allowed that to be on.
To happen,
that is it's seriously like a dude like sitting in his room, like bobbing his head.
Yes, 100%. I mean, we showed that on a previous podcast, and I know a lot of people have actually reached out and asked me what that video was called. You can look it up. If you just type in Will.I.am Entertainment Tonight, it'll be one of the first hits that come on.
Talking about biggest flop, though, you might as well not even ask Dalvon. You know what he's going to say. It's the Pixel 8 Pro. It's the biggest flop, right?
Well, what is your choice, Dalvon? That's a good choice. What is?
I mean, he's right. The Pixel 8 Pro, based off the tech community, the Pixel 8 Pro is the flop of the year.
Yeah, for
and
real.
I shouldn't own it, and I shouldn't be enjoying it. So I'm going to return it because I got I think I got like a 50-day return window or something like that. So yeah,
nice.
So
I know.
I would say that. No, seriously.
It's a piece of shit. I'm just gonna throw it away, Like
yeah. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Dalvin, what would be your flop of the year?
My flop of the year would be the PlayStation Portable.
Oh, nice.
What was they thinking, bro?
That is the worst device ever made, ever. You know what's even worse about that, Dalvon? Someone said if you drop it, it's going to shatter. There's no, that's the biggest design flaw I've ever seen.
Bro, paying for a $200 screen is just trash. Don't get me wrong. I'm stupid. I'm going to buy it eventually. I'm going to go ahead and say that, right?
Yes.
I'm just stupid. Look, I'm going to talk trash about it. And I hate the idea. And I don't think it's a good product, but I'm still going to buy it because I'm dumb. Right, I still want to try. The tech guy in me want to try that dumb product, but I think they missed the window of making it an actual portable to compete with other portables, just like they had the PSP, and they gave us a screen with controllers plugged up to it, and this is what we got for $200.
Can I ask you something, Dalvon? My overhyped product was the Logitech G Cloud and the Razer Edge. This reminds me of similar to that because can't you stream your PS5 games on any mobile device?
Headers.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying, can't you stream any PlayStation game on any mobile device, Darren? I don't know. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I don't know much about the PlayStation streaming services.
Santa hasn't brought me mine yet. I can't give you an answer on that, unfortunately. I actually don't know.
Are you sure Santa's going to come?
I don't know. Like, the elf showed up yesterday. That little fuck has been running around like crazy. But anyway, I don't know what Davon's got in his hand there, but he's holding up something.
Addition to the biggest flop being the PlayStation device and the Dyson headphones and whatever else, I think now that Grounded Tech is in the chat, we have to mention the Xperia, which is trash.
Yeah, yes,
of course.
Trash. Don't you know all other phones that are not iPhones are trash? We already know this. I
kid.
Yeah. I think Dalvon's on mute. Yeah, I don't think he realizes he's on mute, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's not.
Anyways,
no idea.
But no. So I'm gonna talk about what I consider to be the flop of the year. This is gonna piss people off. But I'm gonna start.
Oh no.
I've actually got two. Number one, I'm going to call this the runner-up. I don't want to be mean because I have faith that it's going to get better. I do. So my runner-up choice.
Oh, runner-up. Okay,
for flop of the year. I had it queued up.
You son of a... No, I'm just kidding.
So, the Pixel Fold. Now, the runner-up flop of the year, this is the runner-up choice. Please understand this. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, why the fuck would you not bring it to Canada? That's reason number one.
Why would you bring it to Canada? You just said it was the biggest flop. Why would they bring it to
Canada? I know, but why wouldn't you? That's number one. That's number one reason. Now, the reason for me that the Pixel Fold is flop of the year is a few reasons. I honestly feel like they released it too early. I feel like they should have waited until the Pixel 8 series came out, and they should have paired it up with the Tensor 3. I feel like going for the Tensor 2 was a mistake. I think that was a rush to the market. It's also way too heavy. Like way too heavy. Like 283 grams is fucking insane. It's too heavy. I don't care what people say that heavy means expensive or heavy means better or heavy means stronger. No. If it's too heavy to fit in your pocket, it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. Secondly, and people are going to disagree with me on this, the outer screen was too good. Too good. Just too good. So good that I didn't even use the inner screen that much. I was basically using Grounded Tech, yeah. I was basically using the outer screen more than I was using the inner screen, which was insane to me. I understand that people are not going to like this. Grounded Tech, I'm sorry, bud. Maddie, I'm sorry. I wanted to like it more than I actually did.
You're not sorry.
But the Pixel Fold for me was not the foldable device for me. It may be next year. I hope it is going to be next year. I know Dalvon has to duck out. So Dalvon, we'll get you in there for MVP, buddy. Thank you very much for joining us. Anyway, that's my runner-up choice. Pixel Fold. I know people are going to disagree with me. I'm sorry. I still love Pixel.
My foldable device of the year is your...
Flip. I'm sorry, Tuna. I'm sorry.
I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight.
I know. Sorry. But I would like to bring up my flop of the year. Now, this was a product that I almost guarantee none of you have heard of, but we were fortunate enough to review it on OneCutReviews.com this year. As Dalvon ducks out. I feel like Dalvon needs a Thanos effect as he disappears.
Snap the fingers, boom, he just disappears. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So my flop of the year is actually this product here. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is.
Oh my God, that thing is worthless. Oh my God.
Chubby buttons.
Yes.
Now, you can check out the OneCutReviews.com. The name is ridiculous, first of all. Let's talk about that. Chubby Buttons is a giant Bluetooth-enabled play, pause, forward, rewind device that you wear on your forearm or wrist so that you can control your media, I guess, instead of touching your phone. This thing is fucking enormous. Enormous. like bigger than you could expect, like the size of a remote control on your wrist. You look ridiculous wearing it. It does everything that your phone can do by just taking it out of your pocket. So Chubby Buttons is a Bluetooth wearable that you wear on your wrist or your forearm in this case. Now, it does have some applications, like if you're riding a motorcycle, maybe. Skiing down a mountain, why not? Why not have a giant device on your wrist that, potentially could blow up? But Chubby Buttons is my bust of the year. It's my flop of the year. It is the most ridiculous thing that's ever come across my desks here at One Coat Reviews.
I mean, I think the use case for that was like, you can see in that picture, like you're a snowboarder and you have big glass gloves on and you got to push button. But I still think it's dumb too, because
it's a dumb idea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if you fall and it comes off your wrist or you break the fucking thing, it's somewhat durable. It's a little bit waterproof. I mean, it was stupid. It was stupid. Stupid idea. About as stupid as the Dyson headphones.
Whoa.
Which brings us to our final category of the night, the MVP.
And what we're going to do for MVP is I'm going to go ahead and give Dalvon's first.
Yes. So MVP, just for people who are listening at home, and our final category of the year, the bee's knees, the most valued player.
Correct. Or most valuable phone, whatever.
Yes.
The biggest MVP besides what Dalvon's going to say, Darren's going to say, what I'm going to say, obviously is a TNT podcast, because we're amazing and it's only getting better with time. And you guys just wait till the new year. It's going to get even better.
Big plans.
Dalvon, and this is going to be a surprise, I'm sure, to everyone, is the Pixel 8 Pro. So Dalvon goes on to say, Google improved so much this year, the camera, and I agree with him on this one. The video has gotten a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
The quality is better, and they have gotten so many new software features. The support for 7 years, the screen is better, and I don't know if this is kind of where he was going, but with the software features, it goes with the feature drops, and they've been doing that for a while. So I was told that in December, the Pixel line, at least the 8 series, is going to get some promised features. I'm not going to leak anything or scare anyone, but there's going to be some new stuff coming, which was expected to come a while ago. So that's good. So Dalvon saying the Pixel 8 Pro, it's not a surprise, but at the same time, I kind of have to agree, but that's not my pick. So, Darren, do you want to go next? Do you want me to go next? Or?
I will go next. That's fine.
Okay.
So, I don't know what the hell I'm typing in here. Hang on. Sorry. So we've reviewed a lot of products, and there's only one that I've longed for. One that has kind of haunted my brain that I just can't seem to shake.
Can I say something before you do something? Before you mention this, can I just tell you one thing? I think we're going to agree on this one.
Oh, we are. There you go. Okay.
We'll see.
So there's been one tech product this year that absolutely blew me away and really caught me off guard. It was one that I never expected I thought I would like, from a company that I never thought I would like. Now, it's the kind of product where once you have it, and a lot of people probably won't actively seek it out. There are lots of other alternatives in the market, and I think this will come as no surprise to anybody who watches the TNT podcast. My pick for MVP for this year is the Honor Magic 5 Pro. So the Honor Magic 5 Pro, and I know smartphones are we love smartphones here, and there's other tech out there. I understand that, but this is something that
no, there isn't.
No, there isn't. No, but this is something that caught both myself and Tuna off guard, because I don't think we expected to like it as much as we did. And I have actively been having conversations with Tuna all year, because I had to sadly send mine back to Honor because it was a review unit, and I bought one myself, and I sadly sold it like an idiot. In hopes that the Pixel Fold would be better. Fucking Pixel Fold, flop of the year. The Honor Magic 5 Pro haunts my brain. we've had conversations about me rebuying this. Tuna and I almost rebought it just at Black Friday. Almost this close. If
I had a couple more of these, I probably would have bought it.
Yeah. And the Magic 6 Pro's on the horizon, and there's all, again, it's an amazing phone. The cameras on this phone, and I've used every major smartphone this year, from the S23 Ultra, Pixel, iPhones of the world. Nothing can beat the camera quality on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. It was at the top of DxO, which is not a great benchmark to meet, but it was at the top of DxO for a number of months. And even after trying phones like the Xiaomi 13 Pro, the Oppo Find X6 Pro, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, the Honor Magic 5 Pro still takes better photographs. Video was also very good. Battery was excellent. The screen, the low dimming rate, which was very nice on the eyes, great brightness, mostly stock Android, besides a few pre-installed apps. The build quality was excellent. It was beautiful to look at. And there's a lot to be said about that when it comes to a phone. If I had to choose a phone that I had access to right now and keep in my pocket for the camera and for an Android device, and I know I didn't mention my Android device for the best smartphone, and this is the reason why. The Honor Magic 5 Pro is it. It is the best released tech device in my books that came out this year. Over to you, Tuna.
So MVP. My MVP is also the Honor Magic 5 Pro.
There we go. I can see that one coming.
And like I said, this would be my phone of the year if it was officially released in our market and has full support of the carriers. Honestly, it would be. I don't think you guys, I'm not underestimating this, or I'm not making little of this. Or I'm not over. I'm just telling you, these cameras are the most amazing thing ever. And at the time, I'm like, oh, the Pixel 8's coming. And the Pixel 8's great. iPhone's great. But this thing is just on a different level. And I'm not saying it's like so much more advanced. It's just something about it. The look of it's polarizing. I think it's got a curved screen, if I remember. God, I got rid of it so long.
Quad curve.
Yes. And it didn't bother me. I like curved screens.
No, me either. No.
Yeah, it did. But this one didn't bother me. But this, by far, is my MVP. And I hope to God when the 6 comes out, they don't screw anything up and try to start back from scratch and mess anything up, because they've got to keep this. I hope they even designs similar, because I don't want a whole lot of changes. I'd like to have some processor updates and maybe bring, fingers crossed, which is never going to happen, bring it to the US, but it's not going to happen. It's too hard of a market to break into. So,
yeah. And look, I mean, for those of you who are listening and going, oh, this is just another Chinese brand, Honor is a globally released phone. It's released in Europe. It's released in a lot of parts of the world. It hasn't come to the North American market, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work in the North American market.
No, right.
I had no issues with it here in Canada. Everything worked fine. Everything worked more than fine. More so than a lot of the other devices that I had, like the OnePlus Open, which for some fucking reason still can't get messages and phone calls on. And that's a globally released product. So, I think for a lot of people that are watching this, this is not your conventional choice for MVP. And I think a lot of people would be surprised by this. But in both of our books, and if it wasn't for Tuna, I may have never known about this phone.
You're welcome.
The Honor Magic 5 Pro is not going to make any other tech tubers lists. I don't imagine it will.
Nope.
But don't underestimate surprise entries into a market like the nothing phones of the world. The Honor Magic 5 Pro and the Honor brand has released some great products this year. The Honor 90 was another device which I've reviewed, which was also excellent, had amazing cameras on that too. Go out there, try one for yourself. If you can get your hands on this one at a decent price, it's definitely worth investing in. It really has been an amazing device.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I know we've been on longer than an hour, and this is our last official TNT
Show
podcast of the year.
Yes.
No hint, wink there. But I want to kind of throw in one last category.
Yeah, go for it.
And this is kind of different. It's not 2023. It's what is the product you're looking most forward to next year? And I know there's a lot of things on the horizon, but what in your mind is, You could say Pixel 9. You could say the S24. You could say the PlayStation 6. I don't think it's coming out next year, but relatively within the next year, what is your future? I already have one in mind. That's kind of why I brought it up.
I'm going to just pull it up.
Ooh, okay. That's probably on a lot of people's list. We had some guy in the chat say this is the biggest flop or biggest overhyped, but it's not out yet.
No, it's not. But that's something that I'm curious to, I think more for me, I'm curious about how YouTubers and reviewers receive it. I want to know if it's like Apple's made a lot of claims about this product, and that's sometimes Apple's usually about a 70-30 split. 70% being, yep, it's as good as they say, and 30%, it's okay. I would like to know how other people receive this device and what it's actually like to use. That's what I would like to see.
And
will I buy one? No.
Well, the biggest fear with this is I have an iPhone, I have an Apple Watch. That's it. I'm not 100% into the Apple ecosystem, and I know that Apple's going to lock this down and require me to have X amount of devices, and I don't even use Mac OS. So I'm not against those things. I just don't regularly use them, so they're not familiar with me. So I would like to see this come out because whether it's popular or not, Samsung and Google are already working on something similar to this, and the Google Glass was out, which is not. Yeah. So it's just going to push things forward, and there's going to be an Android version. This is just going to take a little longer. Android kind of plays catch up with some of these things, but they will figure it out and make it their own.
Now, what's the product you're looking for?
Well, we already know, and Dan is an a-hole, but it's the Humane AI pin.
Oh, here we go.
And the reason why I say that is because people are up in arms. There's no screen. We don't even know. And yes, is this thing on the hand a gimmick? It might be. And yes, the gestures are weird. But I think this is not an all-end product. I think this is something that's going to lead into other things. We are here in the U.S., Google wants us to be like this. They want us to rely on Google Assistant for everything. But we're not there yet. And I think this is kind of the bridge in between. It's not glasses, but it's not a screen. I don't know. I'm excited. I've got one coming in the new year, and I'm hoping that it's as great as they say it is. But if not, you take a chance. And Grounded Tech is saying I'm going to buy all the flops. You know what, Dan?
Listen, I gotta give Tuna credit. He tries them first a lot before a lot of other people, and I appreciate it. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never known about the Magic 5 Pro and maybe even the Humane AI pin.
Probably not.
So,
well, it's not available in Canada, right? I think it's only coming to the US with T-Mobile.
You can import it. I can't buy it natively yet.
So what would you use for your service provider?
A Canadian one, I guess.
Well, they're partnered with T-Mobile, so I'm guessing there's got to be some kind of I don't know how it works. We'll see when it comes out, right?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much to everybody that supported the TNT podcast this past year. For a lot of us that are on the team, Tuna, Dan, Sam, Delvon, Roddy, all those guys who have been part of it for the whole year. We really appreciate those guys giving up their time to be here every Friday or Sunday or Wednesday or whatever day that we were on, because we went through them all. But, it's been a big year in tech. We've seen a lot of big developments, big changes. And I think 2024 is going to be a big year again. And, Tuna, I know I don't say this enough, buddy, but thank you very much to you as well for being a co-host and bringing the humor and the good looks to our podcast that it so desperately needs. And look, we have some very big plans coming for 2024, and we won't say much, but if you're not following One Cut Reviews or Tuna Tech on X, you should, because we're going to do a bit of a reveal later on in the before the end of the year. Before the end of the year, we'll have a little a special edition kind of thing going on. But
just to give you a little background, there's no nudes, so just keep that in mind. Nothing X-rated.
Yes, and look, we are going to continue following all of the tech that we love and sharing it with you guys. It is a labor of love. We give up our time every week to kind of come here and find these stories and share them with you. So we thank you very much, all those people who have liked, subscribed, and join us every week in the chat or just to kind of shoot the shit with us, and we appreciate you all. Thank you very much to all the regular people. Maddie, thank you very much. Adida, you guys are amazing. We appreciate you.
Yes.
And listen, that wraps up our final Best of Tech show for 2023. Who knows next year what it could be? It could be completely different. Maybe we might be just talking all foldables or all AI-based products or fucking who knows.
We may
robotics,
talk in all
maybe.
Pig Latin. We may just talk in Pig
Who
Latin
knows?
the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know?
So thank you very much. Continue to follow One Cut Reviews and 2&A Tech on X. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube for the TNT podcast. And we will catch you in 2024 or 2023. Maybe right at the end of the year, but stay tuned for that. So thank you very much to Tuna. Thank you very much for Delvon and everybody else that joined us on the podcast this past year. We really appreciate all of you. And we will catch you in the new year. Thank you very much.